Today's conversation is with Isaiah Richter. He is a violinist currently studying at Pensacola Christian College and also concert master violinist at First Baptist Church in downtown Pensacola. He was recording some violin for me, and afterwards I thought it would be an awesome opportunity to sit down and have a great conversation about music and just life. This is the CJ Murray Podcast, and I'm thankful that you joined us today. Isaiah, I've never done a podcast before, so you are the very first on a slightly unnamed podcast right now. And it's good to have you.
No, it's my privilege. Thank you, CJ.
Yeah, and for those of you, I'm just going to put it right here. For those of you that are listening to this podcast, Isaiah, I met through college. He plays the violin. I would say very well. I went to a Christmas concert with you, and I had not seen you play violin. I don't think I hadn't seen you perform violin.
Oh, okay.
I don't think.
Yeah.
But it's great to have you as the first.
Well,
So let me just start off by asking you, how did you get into music? Were you encouraged by someone, inspired by something?
Yeah. Well, so I grew up listening to music a lot. I know. So my dad's in the Air Force, and when we lived in England, our mom would play classic FM on the radio a lot. So
Cool.
I listened to a lot of classical music, even though it might not have been my favorite thing at the time. And I wanted to play trumpet back then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I didn't actually start playing an instrument. I actually didn't get my own until I was 7. At Christmas, my parents bought me like a cheaper violin.
Okay.
And when I turned 8, June next year, they got me lessons. And so that's when I really started. But at the time, it was one of those things, like, at first it's so exciting, cool, and different, and then you realize, scales and arpeggios and
grind.
the grind.
Yeah.
And so I didn't, for years, I think I was pretty comfortable, like, moving at the pace the teachers would have me when I could have moved faster if I practiced. So for years, I just didn't. I had generally okay intonation. People, that's what they noticed. An interesting fact, really random, but I didn't learn how to do vibrato on my instrument for about 7.5 years. And generally, that's something people learn pretty fast. So I learned how to have good intonation without being able to have that kind of cover up, I guess a scapegoat or something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 2018 when I went to a PSO concert, the Pensacola Symphony Orchestra, and Gil Shaham, he's a world-class violinist, performed Tchaikovsky's Violin Concerto. And I had never heard it before, but that night just hit me. I was like, I had grown to like music more, but it still wasn't at a place where, I had my own personal drive. It was still other people pushing me. And the thought in my head was, I need to practice.
Yeah.
So after watching that, I finally had a drive, like in the car ride home. I didn't know what to say. It was such an incredible performance.
You were shown what was possible if you put in effort. Yeah.
And he played with such ease, and he had so much joy, and I wanted to experience that.
It looked effortless.
Yes. Exactly. And so I started practicing more, but really it wasn't until 2020 when I started to tap into my own drive, which was,
and that's only 3 years ago.
Yep. So I came to camp here at PCC, the music camp, the Summer Music Academy that they have with YOM camps, and I somehow was able to get the concertmaster position, which is a complete honor.
I was gonna say,
yeah, and it was. I was really challenged by my stand partner, and we were kind of social distance at that time. It was kind of exciting, first time being out of the house again. But she was young, and yet she had so much fire and for how young she was a crazy, incredible player.
How old was she?
At the time, I believe 14.
Oh my word.
And she really challenged me. I was like, okay, well, I would love to be able to do that. All of the players, even a player behind me who goes to school now, not for violin, but piano, she I always felt like she should be here, not me. Like I'm not, I, you know,
Hmm.
I felt out of place, but
Right.
that challenged me. And so well, after camp, I finally had a reason to practice. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to um, be able to do that. It inspired me.
What
And
does practice look like for you right now?
right now, a good question. So,
Like if you were to give me an average.
let's see. So my solo practice time daily generally should be about 2.5 hours,
Okay.
but that's only solo violin music.
Okay.
And it doesn't count any symphony music or like the hour and a half of concert music I have for church or any of that.
Gotcha.
That's all added extra things. Even chamber music is outside of that.
Yeah.
So solo music right now, it looks like, let's see, scales, etudes, arpeggios, and yeah, all that stuff is about half an hour, then Bach for like 20 minutes, and Beethoven for 30, Barber for 30, Dvorak for 30, Mozart for 20. Yeah, it's about in that range.
Yeah.
So I'm never
adds
at a
up.
loss. Yeah,
It adds
yeah,
up.
exactly. So I'm never
Yeah.
never at a loss for what to do.
Absolutely.
But I love it. It never gets tiring. Like eventually, getting more into the camp, I came back the next year, and finally I started having this drive. I realized that when I was young and I used to see like these National Geographic shows with animals and stuff, and there was
Yeah.
music in the background. At the time, I didn't specifically think about the music,
Yeah.
but then I realized later on, I found the music again, and I was like,
Yeah.
I love this. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely, I feel like I'm a little bit too crazy in love with music. Like, I just
You like embrace the drive.
yes, yeah, and
It's like a part of who you are.
it never gets old. It never gets old.
That is awesome. How now with your walk with God, what did that transformation look like where you were like casual into music to, oh my goodness, like this is something I know I need to do, I want to do. How did that correlate with your growth with God at the time?
Yeah, so it took, I don't know, I believed early on that God had given me a gift. I don't think I explored that much. I didn't know exactly what that meant. And eventually when I did, it just kind of opened my eyes a bit. I realized I have and still have such a strong sense that he wants me to use, music to glorify him, which is what I intend to do with all my, faults and imperfections and all that.
Yeah.
But he, I don't know. I know music. There's something significant about music. It's this almost completely universal language that speaks to everyone in some way, some form.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how that relates to God, like where all the correlation is. I know he's creative. And he made us as creative beings. We are able in some tainted way to reflect his creativity, which is a privilege. It's truly a privilege to find some way to, I don't know. It's an honoring and I don't know. It's an honoring experience.
It's like it's exciting for him to give us the opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah. Like when you enjoy it, he enjoys it too, kind of in and through you, or he's just excited. Man, I made this possible, and now Isaiah gets to achieve it and experience it.
Yeah. And so that's like the church I go to, First Baptist Church Pensacola. That opportunity came along, and previously I'd gone to a church that had like 40 people in the congregation. It was just piano, violin on a good Sunday, and two singers. And then I go to this church that's getting out of everything that happened with COVID, and the numbers are coming back in the group, but now it's built up to every Sunday like close to 60 in the orchestra and 80 to 90 in the choir. And I can't describe the experience of every Sunday. I want to hear the word of God, and I want to go to church, but it's even more than that. It's there are some songs and some different hymns that we play, because our hymns are fully orchestrated, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes like here you play them in a hymnal, which still is nice, but it doesn't get the
Yeah.
full effect.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just don't want it to end.
Yeah.
It makes me so look forward to, that time where for eternity we'll be worshiping.
You feel like the message is being fully expressed. You can not just mean it, but enjoy it.
Yeah.
And just embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just that taste of, eternity, that taste of, I don't know how God's going to use our musical abilities or any of that creativity in, the end. The beginning, really.
Man. Now, I know that you're under a time crunch, and I'll let you go soon. We didn't get to any of these questions. Is there anything that looks interesting to you from my phone, because there isn't a video?
Well, let me see. Well, one interesting one. I think you asked if I were to make a masterpiece, what would you consider that to entail? A complete expression of you of God, increase in complexity, or the mastering of simplicity? So that's an interesting question. So I compose and write music, and that is a big challenge for me, because for years I didn't think I was capable of doing that. I didn't know theory. Honestly, coming to college, I still had a very, very small understanding of theory, and I didn't realize that theory is used to help interpret these creative ideas. It's a language that lays out the structure of what was already written. Like oftentimes, there are different methods to go about writing, whether you write based on theory, knowing how one chord can lead to another, but you can also write just from what you hear, and that's what I do. And I think a masterpiece, I don't know if I ever see myself writing.
Really?
I don't know. I am a big Debussy fan. I'm a big fan of the impressionistic composers and works, French, all of the textures where one part alone makes no sense at all. Really? It makes no sense, but it's when context, they come together. And I like messing around with different things. I have a very, sometimes I guess it could be called strange way of going about writing and rules I set for myself. Like for me, I cannot continue writing a piece if it doesn't move me at all. If I take 2-day break from it, I will quit it altogether. So I have like 600 files of scores on my phone, computer.
It can be hard because there's a momentum to it.
And I feel like if you go on long enough without touching or going back to that idea again, it'll be subject to change. Your idea will be probably tainted by other music you might hear, and the idea, it's like in a dream when a scene around you starts to kind of change until you're in a different place than before. So there's that element. And then also, I'm my own biggest critic, and I realize that. But if I can get past myself, if I can move myself, that ensures that most likely I can move another person, because it takes a lot for me to appreciate what I've written. And I'm very picky. I don't like putting, even if people like the stuff that I consider to be, kind of just bad writing, I want to stay true to myself in these kind of things. Like, I don't just throw out music. I don't like producing music for the sake of producing, but rather just staying true. If I really find something that is good and solid, then I might consider putting it out there, but it has to be good.
It's hard. It's really hard, because good will even be relative.
Like, that's true.
Because if the you 10 years ago saw what you were doing right now, it maybe not be considered a masterpiece, but that you 10 years ago would be like, oh my goodness, just put that out there. That's really good. You're your worst critic, but back then it isn't as criticizable right now. If you get what I'm saying. And so something that I've heard from a lot of people is you have to be willing to put out something that's bad before you can really really embrace the good. And the other difficult part of that is just learning the skill to finish.
Yep.
Just learning the skill to finish. Like the
Yep.
song that I just recorded you for a little bit ago. You know, I had a message to the song and then I put it down for a week and I came back and it's like, oh my goodness, I don't feel the message of the lyrics that I was getting at before.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's something that I have to go back to. Okay, but it's still a good message, and someone out there would still appreciate hearing it. So there's value.
And I've been forcing myself to do to work against my tendencies to see how I can, because I know that'll grow me.
Oh yeah, it's a constant growing process.
Yeah.
Well, Isaiah, this was awesome, and I'm excited. You were an amazing person to start this podcast with. You've worked really hard. You're still working hard. And I'm just, wherever you go in life, it's cool that we have this moment in this studio. Yeah.
Oh, it's an honor. And thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.